Hey, what's up? This will more than likely just be an archived stream. I don't expect to have very many viewers at the moment. I just want to do a quick recap. I'm about to leave Oakland and just kind of decompressing a little bit here before I head home. So I'm currently on Broadway and I am going to drive up here to YMCA. So I'm gonna back up just a little bit. This street right here, I think this, actually it might have been one more street over. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you a little quick map out of how things transpired as far as us getting kettled at YMCA today. Right now, just so you guys know, whoever's streaming, hey Sith, hey Occupy Manose. Okay, so I'm gonna try to map out how we ended up getting kettled at YMCA, because a lot of people right now are talking a lot of trash on the fact that we should not have allowed ourselves to get kettled. And I can tell you that we didn't allow ourselves to get kettled. It happened very, very quickly. I'm actually at a point right now where I can't even really remember how we ended up on Broadway. So I'm gonna try my best. There's no cops where I'm at right now. Everything's pretty much quiet in Oakland. I haven't been by the plaza since I left. When they gave dispersal orders, I was not even at the plaza. I was a block away, keeping an eye on mutual aid. God, this is crazy. I can't even remember how we got to plaza or to YMCA. Okay, yeah. Okay, so right now I'm at the auto row. All right, let me just go through this light. So the march itself came up Telegraph. If you look beyond this intersection, there's an auto dealership over there. It's for Infinity Oakland. So we came down that hill through those cars and ended up here. This is Broadway that I'm on right now. Okay, so we filled this intersection that I'm in, and I'm U-turning, and this was the way that we were headed. So this is on Broadway, headed back towards Plaza. So we were marching down this way. We had a line of cops behind us. All these side streets that I'm passing, all these side streets were clear. There were no cops on any of these side streets anywhere. So all we had at this point was a line of cops behind us. Now we continued coming down here, and when we got to this point right here, this intersection of 24th and Broadway, down that street there were cops, and down the other side of YMCA there was also more cops. So naturally we continued forward. Now I was about halfway in the middle of the march. I was trying to find some of my friends who were supposedly at the back of the march, and I remember stopping right here, quite literally right here against these windows. I stopped here to let the march pass me so that I could catch the back of the march, so that I could find my friends, who was a streamer Bobster Rob with 3 R's, and a medic, which is Krioni, Krionni. Both of those were arrested tonight. However, back to my story. I stopped here to hopefully catch my friends at the back. So at this point, 24th and Broadway was full of riot cops. This entire intersection was blocked off. So there was no way to head back. The only way that we could go at that point was to continue forward. which would be towards 23rd and Broadway, or 22nd and Broadway. So as I was walking along this window front right here, waiting for the march to pass, suddenly the march stopped. And this entire intersection became full of protesters. I didn't know what was going on at the other end. I didn't know what was going on at the intersection up front of us here. I thought we were blocking up. I thought we were going to rally here in the streets for a moment and try to hold the cop line behind us. At that moment, I noticed several people flooding the sidewalk up on top of the YMCA landing right across the street from where I'm standing. At that moment, I knew that this situation could quickly get out of control. So I started walking this direction, kind of in the street, kind of like I am right now, and seen people hopping over the fence, which is to the right of me, right behind the tree that you can see right at the edge of your screen. People were hopping that fence. I quickly knew that something wasn't right, and I could see past them. I was up against the wall. I walked back over towards the wall, which is actually not a wall. It's a bunch of windows, glass windows. This is a vacant building here. So I quickly got up here, and as I was able to look down the side of this wall, I was able to see a police line. I realized at that point we were kettled. I know a lot of people in my stream were telling me to look for a dark alley or a hallway or something to get out of where I was, and I knew there was no way from where I was to get out. The people that hopped this fence, I'm actually curious at this time to find out where they could have possibly gone. So they hopped this gate, which actually leads to a parking lot, so they definitely were able to get away through that point. But all this transpired within a matter of seconds, not even minutes, but seconds. So as I was standing here across the street from YMCA, and I seen several people in the street trying to get away from the cops who were at both ends of the intersection, this block, they started going up on the steps of YMCA. And everybody was rallying in the streets. People up on the steps of YMCA. I seen the doors open, and I seen everybody waving at us to come in. I did not want to go into YMCA. I didn't know if the plan was to occupy YMCA, or if we were being allowed to come in, or they were breaking in. I didn't know the situation. I didn't feel comfortable with it. So I did not go across the street up onto those steps. I stayed across the street where I'm at right now and waited to see what was going to happen. Within seconds, officers from 24th and officers from 23rd, they swept up to the steps, running with batons drawn, and started grabbing people off the steps and beating them and detaining them and arresting them. They then continued to go up onto the landing, which I'll walk over there in a moment. They walked up onto the landing, started grabbing people one by one, not nicely, very brutally, and putting them down the steps going towards the right. I knew then the situation was no longer under control. I wanted to leave. I turned to the right, thinking the police line that was in the street was the same group of police that were up on the steps, because I seen them come from that direction. Once I got past all of the people that were in front of me and was able to get view, I quickly found out that there was another line of riot cops. So the riot cops that were at 23rd on Broadway and the riot cops that were at 24th on Broadway were not the same riot cops that I saw come from the street up to the sidewalk. So that is how we were so quickly kettled and being held. And the entire block was then given a dispersal, not even a dispersal, we were given a blanketed arrest notice that we had been asked to leave 3 times, which I was told that my stream captured it once. I personally didn't hear it ever. But supposedly there was a dispersal. I told the officers that I did not hear the dispersal notice. I told the officers I was pressed and I wanted to leave. If you were watching my stream, you heard all of this and you know exactly what transpired. I was in a group of 20 to 30 people right across the street from this YMCA. And one by one, my group of 20 to 30 people were being strip tied. And I was about to get arrested. If you were watching my stream, I was giving out information, I was communicating what was going on around me, and myself and my friend that I was standing with were just waiting for our moment to get detained, to get zip tied. I mean, about 10 people from our group were zip tied and sat down on the ground along that building where the windows are right now. So we were just basically waiting our turn to get zip tied. Out of nowhere, a sergeant ran across the street from YMCA, and he walked across the street to us and told us that we had an option of going to jail or going home, and if we chose to go home, then to leave that direction, which would be towards the plaza, and not to come back. So we took our opportunity to leave. While I was watching and observing the activity going on here at YMCA, there was a very large group of people, which you would probably see on Oakfishow's stream, that were pretty much pinned and closed off. That line from Oakfishow's stream at one point probably would be looking like that. And there would have been officers lined up right here. And that is a very small area where they were bringing people down the stairs. Plus, they pushed an entire group of protesters up into this corner and had them locked up inside here. And they began arresting them one by one. And there was a row of cops that pretty much went from the street on a diagonal up to the bottom of the stairs. There's been some word on Twitter that I've already read that states that we broke into YMCA, that we were trying to occupy YMCA. Both of these are untrue. I've spoken to people who went into YMCA. I was told that as they were up here trying to stay away from the cops that were, once again, at 24th and Broadway, and also at 23rd and Broadway, once we realized we were kettled in this intersection and no way to get out, the people that came up to the stairs to look for an escape were at the doors, and the people that were inside YMCA opened the doors and allowed the protesters to get in and gave them an escape route within YMCA. As you can see, just to confirm any kind of rumors that I have been hearing and reading about, YMCA's front windows are not destroyed. There's no sign of any damage to the doors or the locks. We did not break into YMCA. We did not have plans of occupying YMCA. YMCA staff opened their doors and allowed us to enter. In addition to that, YMCA hours of operation on Saturday are until 8 p.m. So YMCA was actually open for business when we got here. So we did not break into YMCA nor try to occupy YMCA. We, as a group, as a commune, our comrades came up to these steps to escape the riot cops that were chasing after them and pulling them off the stairs, beating them and arresting them. I am completely in thought right now of my friends that are arrested tonight, and there are several of them. We are finding out more and more about arrestees as the night goes on. As people are not checking in with anyone, we're realizing that they've been arrested. If you were watching Oak for Show's stream and you don't know the geographics of his location when he got into a building and up over the situation, the the building that he was in is right there. He was in one of those windows. Apparently he was invited up. I don't know the details of the story. So he was right up there, which is directly across the street from the YMCA. Good night, Sith. So yeah, once I was released and once I was able to get out of this area, I pretty much headed back to the plaza. Thinking that my night was probably going to be pretty chill. And about a block away from the plaza, I got word that City Hall was broke into, that the doors were open, and that's where we headed. So I'm gonna now get back in my car. It's very chilly. I'm gonna head downtown. Gonna roll by Ogawa Plaza and see how that's looking. But hopefully this gives you enough of an insight and some geographics of the situation and how we were able to be kettled here. And just, there's a group of people that were in YMCA that were, they found an escape route through YMCA and they came out the other side, either the back or the side exit. There was also people that were telling me about the cops actually going into YMCA and grabbing people, pulling them back out, which is pretty scary considering the fact that YMCA was open and had people inside there. That cops would actually enter the facility. So yeah, basically once I left, I did not return back to this area until the cops were pretty much done arresting everybody. But apparently the situation here at YMCA lasted almost 6 hours, trying to detain and process and get everybody onto the buses. The information is out there on Twitter. I definitely will be tweeting it out. There's phone numbers that can be called. There is a website that you can go to look up arrestees. All the information is on Twitter. Let's support our Occupy Oakland and Solidarity supporters. We had a lot of people here today from San Francisco. We had people from San Jose, Sacramento. We had people that came up from LA, from San Diego, from Portland. We had a lot of people. All right, David Colburn, thank you for tuning in. I did see a lot of bikes. There's a lot of bikes, you're right. And I have no ability to save the bikes. I do not have room in my car to get the bikes. I have a very, very small car. I don't know anybody who has a truck. I wish I had the ability to save the bikes for them. I'm actually going to be heading out of the area right now. I really am very sorry that I can't help with the bikes, but we'll definitely help get the word out. As soon as I end this stream and have an opportunity to tweet it, I will. If you guys are watching in the social stream, the 11 viewers that I have, look at David Colburn's message about the unlocked bikes that belong to arrested protesters, and let's tweet that information out and see if somebody can come by and help pick up the bikes. This is really unfortunate. I know there's vehicles parked all over the city that are going to get ticketed tomorrow because there's nobody returning to them in the morning before the ticketed hours kick in. Thank goodness it's a Sunday and some of the zones don't apply. But yeah, this is definitely, I mean, I know we have a big call for solidarity actions tomorrow throughout the world, not just the country. But I'm seeing a lot of calls, national calls of actions, world calls of action in solidarity for Oakland. Today was definitely intense. The cops from the very beginning were on us with high intensity. I was really close to a lot of situations that were just out of control and unnecessary today, and just really make me wonder what is wrong with OPD, what is wrong with Mayor Kwan, what is wrong with Chief Jordan, what is wrong with City Council, what is wrong with the entire freaking system everywhere. That we had a peaceful protesting march. We even had the officers this morning before we started. They went on to a loudspeaker. They actually acknowledged our right to protest. And I just can't believe a peaceful march turned into something so brutal. Their tactics were just pretty much dehumanizing. When we were kettled at 19th and Telegraph, and I was asking to leave and being told that I was not allowed to leave peacefully and safely, it blew my mind. And when it happened again here at YMCA, it again blew my mind. Something has to be done about OPD and their tactics. I'm out of words at this point, and at this exact moment my battery is about to die, and I'm tired, and I need to get to my bed very soon and rest. So that's my recap on YMCA. As I head to the freeway, I will pass 19th and Telegraph and come back online and film the downed fence and describe that situation. And I'll then go by the plaza and just kind of get a scope on how things look at the plaza. So if you're watching the stream right now and you want to see what's going on at those two locations, I'll be right back up in about 5 minutes. So stay tuned.